What's up, guys? Pittsburgh Weiss Schwarz back again. We're going to do green in Heaven's Field today. Going to push forward. I got Andy and Bret with me on the call. You guys met Bret last time. Andy, you guys already know. You guys
Hi,
know.
I'm Andy. Nice to meet you, everyone. This is my first time filming a video. I'm so excited.
And we're happy to have Bret back with us, our fate expert. So before we go back into the actual cards, I just want to bring this slide back up again. So all our old cards to keep in mind. Just really important before we look at any one color, because we're going through a lot of cards, just to bring this back up. Like, we have our Clock Encores, we have our On-Play Ozza Akatsuki's, obviously, like the Gil and the Archer, the coin flip stuff, the Rin anti-change, the Ditch 2 1-0 anti-change. Saber Musashi, we got like our costless sack counter event for like Ilya and Berserker, which is pretty spicy. The Lancer coin flip, the Lancer stock swap, the Rider like costless clock kick, and it has like time machine on a body, which is pretty cool. The Lancer like green climax tutor, and the costless caster restander. These are just a couple cards, but these are the things that we were seeing pop back up in a lot of different builds that are running the mixed cards. So just wanted to throw these all out there. Keep these in mind as we talk about new stuff. So speaking of new stuff,
Well, I have a quick question.
yeah,
So
sure.
I don't know what any of these. I don't know anything about Fate. So what do you think are the most pertinent cards on this list
The
for the
Shiro.
green cards we're going to be talking about today?
Okay, the Shiro Clock Encore is important for every deck. It gives all your Masters characters Clock Encore, so it
At
turns
the zero.
every zero into a plussing zero, and gets you to one first. All right. I also
What are these cards for ants? I can't read them. They're too small.
It's because there's so many cards.
Daily Symbol and the Ilya, those are both on play Akatsuki's. Ilya grabs Masters, Sakura grabs green.
Okay.
Other cards for green, obviously the 1/1, that's Buns for Luck. There's this Lancer from Fate Zero, which is pay 1, ditch a climax, tutor a green climax, or a card named Excalibur from deck that grabs green climaxes, so you could turn one bar into another bar. That's the big idea with that card. Saber Musashi is pretty splashable. That's the one all the way on the left. The Lancer is that one that I run in coin flip. When it gets reversed, reveal top. If it's level 2 or higher, he pops the hand. And then the Rin anti-change is also probably pretty important for green-based decks, because, you know, it's Ditch 2 anti-change, and these decks kind of don't hurt for hand, because you just Clock Encore your field. So, not that bad to ditch 2 cards. Kind of Konosuba-esque. It's like good in the green decks because they have a lot of cards to throw away. Whereas like normally ditch 2 anti-change is pretty bad, but they kind of can support it. But yeah, let's just jump right into the new stuff. So first card is Sakura Brainstormer. So Bret, take us away.
Presage Splatter Sakura. Whenever your character reveals a climax, if it's a bar, you can drop a card from hand and then grab a card from your clock, put in hand, and clock yourself. Also has self-tap Brainstorm, flip 4, and for each climax revealed, you salvage.
So this Brainstorm grabs anything. That's so important for Fate. That's like, I think that's probably the most important part of the card, right, Bret? That it can grab anything.
It's like, here's the thing. We haven't really had a nice, good, consistent Brainstormer in Fate. Yeah. Literally, we've either had spammable ones or we've had ones that were very specific.
Or like
this
draw,
one is the first one. Yeah. It's the first one that we've had that's actually, you know, usable and viable in basically any deck, even if you just run Brainstorm.
Yeah, it's just usable in any single Fate deck. And like, when you just need a good self-tap Brainstorm, you don't even really care about the first effect as much. But the fact that it has bar filter too, and you want to kind of run 8-bar with these new green cards, that's so good. Like, bar filter is like probably, you read it and it feels very underwhelming, but when you use it, it feels so broken.
Just to clarify, are you allowed to discard the
bar
that you just added to your hand?
So here's how it works. You trigger the bar, you resolve the bar's effect. Or no, okay, so here's how it actually works. You trigger the bar, I believe they both go onto the quote-unquote stack at the same time. You choose the order they resolve in. You're not an idiot, so you put the bar in your hand and blind stock first, then you filter. I believe that's how it works. It either works like that, or you actually do the blind stock first. One of the two. But you can definitely do it the way that works out in your favor, for sure. So, yeah, it's just a very strong effect.
Ooh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think we have our first S.
Yeah, I think
That's so good, especially an 8-bar. You don't want that shit getting stuck in your hand.
in the context
Being able
of
to
Fate,
just get rid of extras, that's so good.
like Bret said it, like the fact that like this is just the best brainstormer in Fate that you would run around in any deck.
And then you
like-
get this super, super useful effect just for free.
The only reason like I would even consider not putting it at S is because it's green and every other deck doesn't really want to run much green for the most part. That's like a quote-unquote hit against it. But it's a 0. It's a brainstorm. It's so good. I don't think it matters. I think it's just a straight S.
I think it's a reason to run 8-bar. Like, that's so good.
in the
It
context
negates
of
the main
yeah.
weakness of running that many bars.
Yeah, for sure.
I like it a lot.
Any further thoughts, Brett?
It's a master. Clock Encore if you need it.
Oh my god. You can. Oh no, that's so nasty.
If they go to sync your
realize that.
brainstormer, you
Oh.
could clock encore it.
So okay, so if you're running 4 Clock Encore for this, you could open like Clock Encore Brainstorm. That's a plussing combo, and your Brainstormer's on board. Oh, that's so nasty. Oh, that's gross. Oh my god.
If they have like a back row destroying effect too, you could clock encore, right?
Rating above S.
You can give it S plus if you want. EX.
EX.
Right, that's the rating system inside of Fate Extella. You can get EX ranks. In Fate, anything that's ranked above an A is EX rank.
EX rank. Okay.
So it's just SEX, right?
SEX. Wow.
No.
Very, very nice, Andy. 10 points. All right. Anything else about this? This is a
Good.
long time coming. I'm glad Fate got this card. This is important for them to have. So.
I'm glad Fate got this card.
All right. Next card. Irreplaceable Existence, Sakura. If you have another character with Shiro on its card name, it gets 1500 power, so it'll sit at 55 cross turn. If you have Story Time, which is this 1k1 bar in your climax area, on reverse, search your deck for a Master or Servant, so basically any card, reveal to your opponent, put in your hand, shuffle your deck. So this is a 6500 on attack Shimakaze, which normally would be pretty bad, but okay, hear me out. It's on bar. Shiro is our Clock Encore, which we're running it for sure. And this is a master. And I don't know. Yeah, I think like you're gonna get to 1 first because you're Clock Encoring your field every turn at 0, which makes this less worse, like the way the 8-bar deck works. So I don't know. That's like my preface to like how this card is used. But I'd like to hear what you guys think about it.
Well, I'm assuming the 8-bar build runs this as their level 1.
Mm-hmm.
And while Shimakazes aren't necessarily the greatest, the fact that this is off of bar and is just so synergistic with the Brainstormer we just mentioned, I think it helps to make the card a lot more playable.
It's a lot
Much
easier
more
to
playable.
snipe 0 reverses when you're taking extra damage, Clock Encoring your field every turn too.
That's super good too, and I kind of like that it sits at 55 cross turn. I don't know what type of backups Fate has, but I think that's a little bit relevant too. That it sits at a kind of decent power level.
That'd be more of a Bret question. Do they have like a cost of 2k, Bret? Like a 1-0 gives 1k plus 1,000 if you meet some sort of condition? Or is that not a thing they have already? I don't know if they have it in the set, yeah.
I can't even think of one offhand. Like, I've barely ever ran anything
Okay.
like that. Usually I just run the the Shaken Rens and
which are 1000s,
or
yeah.
or I'll run Signal Counterattack, which is self-sacrifice from Sword Art.
Yeah, okay.
And the
A
Shiro,
recoverable.
the clock on core Shiro gives 500 cross turn.
No, he literally will. If you're running him like that and you're not running the level 1 he searches out, he's literally just the master
global
encore.
Yeah, he's just global clock master clock encore.
Okay. Well, even with the Rin backup, it's 1000. You said like 6500 still like a sizable row to clear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if
They're
you're
trying to like clear off
running
your
a
weak
backup,
lane,
yeah.
and they're barely there. Like 1000 can get you there.
This is even nastier when we look at so like the level 1 that people run to support this card is a 1/0 like cost bomb that also has Ditch a Climax, salvage a card. So like that's kind of
Oh, that's pretty good with bar triggers, huh?
Yeah. So like that's kind of what you're fielding, right? So I don't know. In the context of the set, I want to give this an A, but Shimakaze's, like we kind of said, like when we were talking about Minamis, we were talking about Saber in yellow. These on reverse combos are like getting worse in English. They're already bad, like in JP, right? Because standby's so rampant. But they're getting worse. But in the context of the set with all the synergy, I'm gonna give it an A-. I think it's that good. I think you're at the point where you would run literally any plussing combo on bar, right? To support the rider and the bar synergy. Like
Sure.
I think that's where we're at.
Well, what did you guys rank the Minami combo in yellow?
Straight B.
I wasn't really.
Straight B, yeah.
I think I'd give this a B- then. I think the synergy with the bar deck would just bump it up to a normal B, but I think the Minami combo is better in a vacuum.
Yeah.
But I think there's just so much power from the synergy with 8-bar that this definitely becomes worth running.
I think that's totally fair.
The only reason I'm giving it, like, you definitely run this. The only reason I'm giving it a B is because it's a Shimakaze that doesn't even hit 7K.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair, for sure. It's kind of like the whole package, right? It's an okay card in a otherwise very good package. So, and like again, if you are using the clock on core to race yourself to 1, you're probably your opponent. There's a better chance that you're gonna force your opponent to leave some targets.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you don't want to miss the forest for the trees on this one.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. You're up, Andy. Make sure you read this card. Make sure you read this card correctly. The name is very deceptive.
Brilliant smile, Sakura. Brilliant smile. Glad that Bushiroad still fact checks their
at least
stuff before they print
it. They misspelled it on the bonder too, so we're good.
It also gets better. They also misspelled it on the parallels as well.
Oh my god, that's terrible. Oh, for shame, Bushiroad. All right, go ahead, Andy.
Well,
sorry.
Anyway, she's a level 3 assist. All your characters in front get a 500 times the level. When you play it, either from your hand or by changing into it, you can salvage a card, a master or servant. You can rest this, choose a master or servant character in your waiting room, put it in your stock.
Yeah, so this is Alpaca.
And then you can early change into this. So I kind of like the ability to just get a free stock every turn, especially if you get this early.
So the 2/1 is I'm a big believer in this whole 3-card package here because it also has that 2/1 rider that we'll talk about it later. But you ditch a green character from hand to summon the 2/1 rider for free to field from waiting room, and then you pay 1 at the beginning of your draw phase before you draw a card. You pay 1, sack this, summon this card from your waiting room, and salvage before you draw. That's like all pretty good. Like the way that timing pops off is pretty good too. It doesn't do anything while it's in the back, but like it does so much other stuff. Not that big of a deal. Yeah, I don't know. Like Fate, the 8-bar deck is already really grindy too. And the fact that this basically gives you 4 stock every turn to play with, you can summon 2 level 3s in the grindy turns. I think that's invaluable. like after you've tapped yourself out.
Ooh, yeah, the fact that you can get a stock the turn you play this.
It's really good. It
That's
refunds
actually,
itself on
that's really
change
nice.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it either plays for 1 or refunds itself on change completely.
and it's like it's
You cut out. What'd you say? Oh, we got our first edit out moment.
Oh,
Yeah, it's fine. Let's wait for him to come back. He might have had a technical difficulty.
Oh no, I was muted. I'm sorry.
Okay,
My
no
bad.
problem.
I pushed to talk, so
Here, I'll count you back in.
where did I cut out at?
I can't remember, Bret. Where'd he cut out? Wait, what?
yeah.
All right, whatever. Just start.
I don't know.
talking.
I was just saying that oh fuck, what was I saying? Shit.
Here, I'm just gonna count you back in, Andy. 1, 2.
Hold on, let me gather my thoughts. Hold on.
I said how it either plays for 1 if you hard play it, or it refunds itself if you change.
Yeah, so you change into it, you get your stock back that turn, and I mean that's just really nice because you get the stock back the turn you play it, and then every turn going forward too.
Yeah,
It's really good.
On play salvage is like decent as well. It's just a good I think that the card in that because of 8 bars is more stally deck. The fact that it's pumping power, it's salvaging a card on play, it's going even. You have a way to change into it, which you may or may not have space for. I don't think that even matters. The change package, it's cool that it exists, but the fact that the big thing is that act stock charge, because it's giving you 4 stock to play with every turn. If you're in those grindy end turns, which you will be if you're playing 8 bar. So I think that part.
Yeah, the other thing too is the stock charge on this you get to choose.
Yeah.
A lot of other stock charges I've seen are blind off the top.
Yeah.
So the fact that you get to choose it and it's going to be clean every time, it's kind of nice, especially if you go into a refresh afterwards.
Hey, guess what else? She has 2 soul and she's a master. This is a 2 soul clock on core beater. Think about that.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's edge case. Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
You can still push it forward and attack with it in a pinch. If you want to push damage and say yeah, go ahead, hit over. It's 1500. I'll just clock on core it.
Yeah, it's cool that this still has 2 soul instead of having more power in 1 soul.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that's a static though, even on level 3s. Even the Shiroi from Log Horizon had 2
Yeah.
soul.
Yeah, it's not something they break often, but it's in their balancing algorithm as an option that you can do. You get additional power back.
Just put her in an empty lane or side attack a level 1 or something if you want to.
Yeah.
Thing I want to point out is that 2/1 changer.
Yeah.
You can easily front row that and clock encore it into your next turn.
Yeah.
And then it's already set and ready to go.
So you can swing that too, and then clock encore it, and then change it. Oh, that's so nasty.
So much fun stuff gets to be done with that Shiro.
Yeah, I'm ready to rate this. I'm gonna give this an A, in the context of the way 8 bar works. I've seen this card do dumb stuff. I've seen this card do dumb stuff in coin flip. I was running this in coin flip, and it still is super super clutch. Because not only does it have a soul trigger, but it gives you extra stock, and this is what you throw down after your gill stuff. So it gives you more steam. Keep going. Very good card.
I think I'm gonna give it a. I think I'll just give it a straight A too. I was thinking maybe A minus, because I think this is definitely better if you play it right when you hit level 2, so you can get the most benefit out of the free stock. But this card is definitely a really good all-arounder. The fact that you can attack with it too is really nice. What do you think, Bret?
Yeah.
I Personally, I wouldn't throw it into the front row unless it was literally a last-ditch effort. The big problem with I'm actually gonna give this I'm actually gonna give this an A- because I'm sitting here thinking about it. And if you're gonna be using it in the context of actually using its level assist, it's gonna be eating up a slot in your back row, which means your brainstormer slot's gone. Just straight
Yeah,
gone.
because you don't want to lose your clock on clear slot. Well, it depends what you're fielding. If you're playing 8-bar, I guess you're going into riders, so maybe your clock on core loses value because you're going into like a servant top end, whereas you're playing masters the rest of the game.
And you're giving like extra power too, so it's gonna be harder to reverse you.
Yeah. So
Maybe
there's
as
definitely a
well.
trade-off there. That's a good point, though. I like
Yeah.
that, yeah. It is eating a back row slot.
I had to sit there and think about it. It's like A was good, and then
So before we move on, so the big thing I've seen with a lot of lists, so people actually are not running the change. They run the 2-1 rider because the rider's dumb, and we'll get to that card eventually. I believe it's an uncommon. And they're just running this with the intent to hard play this at 3-2. That's what most of the 8-bar lists are doing. Mostly because it's a lot of space, because they want to run 3 or 4 of the free freshes, because the free fresh in red is like ultra broken. So they're just running low on slots. So they usually run like 2 of this as like an out to a grindy end game, and not much else, and that's good enough for them. So that's just something I wanted to mention before we moved on. That's like sort of how this card is seeing play right now in JP.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't really like that. I feel like you have so much, at least on paper, you have so much salvaging power with the bar filter and your Shimikaze combo at level 1 that you could throw like 1 or 2 of the spell command Sakura's in
Yeah.
and like set this up relatively consistently, I feel.
Yeah, it depends in English too. That's sort of just how JP is. Like they really value the free fresh. And I think the free fresh is also like the broken. Like we're talking about the 2-1 Rin and Archer Heroic, where it's like free fresh draw a card if you have 5 or less cards in deck, which is like a busted profile. We just like don't see that anymore in
I
English.
mean,
But it's so good.
the heroic Rin Archer is literally that unlimited blade works 2 promo we didn't get.
Yeah.
Just rare slotted.
Well,
Thank
that might
God,
change my
right?
mind a little bit. You might have convinced me with that one. That card's broken. The one you just mentioned.
Yeah, it's like
But it's definitely something to consider for sure.
yeah. So like the big thing with 8-bar is you're stretching yourself to play red. So like you have some card crunch there. But like I don't know, maybe it's not as important in English. Maybe you have room to squeeze at least one of the like final command spell Sakura because you're milling a lot. You could probably grab it off your bombs.
We don't have a lot of the stuff that
That's all to be
JP
seen.
has.
Yeah, that's all
Like-
to be seen though. Like the heal event. The heal event's the big one when we're talking about 8-bar that we don't have. But which leads us right into our next card. So let's move to our next one. Bret, tell us about Ryder.
Okay, Monstrous Glance Rider. On play heal, and then climax combo. When it attacks, if Mystic Eyes of Petrification, which is our second bar here, is played, you can pay 2, drop 1, and it gets 2 abilities until the end of your opponent's next turn. The character facing this card can't frontal attack, so it forces your opponent to side, and the character facing this card loses 3,000 power.
What a monster of a defensive card. So this doesn't early play like Priestess, but I think this is equivalently destructive as a quote-unquote neg soul defensive wall. This is dumb shit, guys, especially off a bar. And it heals. That's so good. Like it doesn't have the anti synergy of like drawing cards that other things like this does. It has good synergy. It heals. It's a 3/2 10k that heals because it's on bar. You're gonna have the bar anyway. So like, card.
It's pretty good. I'm not usually a fan of healing at level 3. I'd usually rather dig for cards. But the fact that you kind of like heal back to 3-0, swing with these, and then tell your opponent you're not going to deal really much damage to me next turn. And the fact that it gives 3,000 power minus to the row in front of it means
it's gonna
Your
live
opponent
back.
still needs to crash something like good into this. They can't just like.
Well, they have to side it. Like they have to
True,
put
true, but
something,
they can't just put like a shitty level 0 in front of it. They have to
because it'll
like
die. It'll die
they have to
instantly.
sacrifice a good character to this still.
And we were talking about this before. This actually came up at Nats. So cards that gain power. So the example, because I believe this was the exact situation that happens, was time to get serious Kirito. The clean cut. He's a 2K. He goes to 35 on play instantly. If you played him into the front row across from Ryder, he instantaneously dies before his ability resolves. So just something to keep in mind. Anything you move in front of this will neg 3. So you can't even like put an assist card in the slot this is against from like temporarily, because it just instantly dies as a rule action. So just something to keep in mind.
You would need to have an assist character behind it, pumping it big enough to not die
Yeah,
to the 3000.
because it's continuous effect. So because they're both continuous, they'd both resolve. But auto abilities wouldn't trigger quick enough. Yeah, the fact that this is costed, though, I think that's the big thing we need to look at here. The fact that this is on attack, pay 2, ditch 1, don't do anything for paying that cost on the turn. That's pretty steep, especially if you want to play a lot of like 2-1s, like the free freshes and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I feel ideally you want to tri-field this, but that's a lot.
Yeah, you're gonna
Stock drop 3.
realistically, and I think
I'm not even concerned about the dropping 3. I'm concerned about having that much stock.
I usually don't bring up like how the cards are being played until after we rate them, because I like to rate them in a vacuum. But most decks play 3 of this because they only aim to field 2, for the most part. At least in JP, that's usually the line. It's what I've been seeing in English too, but we haven't seen any like actual events with 8-bar, and we won't until Worlds. So we have a long time until we see like any actual results from 8-bar. And like I don't know, it's hard to like take results from Springfest too, because it's trios. It's hard to like evaluate how well decks are actually doing in a Springfest environment. So we'll really only have Worlds for a while in terms of tournament results for 8-bar. So just something to keep in mind.
I can definitely see the argument for
we're missing the 3/3 heal event in English. We'll never get it. So that's another big thing.
Yeah, I can definitely see the argument for only running 3 of this, because it is a pretty steep stock cost to play multiples of these.
Yeah. Ugh. And you can't clock encore it if it ends up getting reversed, because it's servant. So if you're gonna pay that cost and it's gonna be out there, you're really, it's gonna live because it has to get side attacked. But you got to pay that cost to make sure it lives.
Well, I think I'm ready to grade the card. I think I'd give it a straight A. I think I really like the combination of healing with the not being able to frontal attack ability.
Also gonna give it A because I love the idea of being able to plus 4,000 on swing functionally.
Yeah, plus 4K on swing is what it does, because it's on attack, so it gets over whatever is in front of it. For sure.
I also love the fact that, this will pretty much get over any wall that you have to deal with.
Yeah, for the most part.
It gets over Home Run Became a Demon, it gets over Titan walls, it gets over Arisa wall.
Yeah. I think it's very good. The big thing that I'm worried about 8-bar in general is not having the 3/3 heal event. And like I trust I guess I'll name drop. I trust Tom when he says like the 3/3 event isn't as important as people think. That's who I played at Nats. He plays 8-bar, like extremely good player, and he has a lot of like he's been talking about it in a lot of Discords and stuff a lot. And I trust him when he says that the 3/3 event isn't as important to 8-bar as you think. I just don't know how we like continue to threaten the fact that, because the big thing with 8-bar and JP is that you have to kill them from 3-0 every single turn. How do we like create that sort of threat in English without that card is what I'm worried about. Like maybe we like use the Ilia healer in blue. It's like That's a big question to answer, but I trust him when he says it's not as important. So we'll see how 8-bar does in English actually with this. Because if you don't know what the 3/3 event does, it's just pay 3, heal 3, and you get to choose which card you heal. It's dumb. It's an old Fate. What is it? Fate Stay Night original VN booster card.
I thought that was whole letter X. Yeah, I'll double check it.
Yeah, I'm unsure. I believe it's just base set Fate Stay Night. In JP. It's a dumb event. And it's in blue, which is like cards you're already playing. So it's like not a big deal to run it at all. Most lists run 2 or 3, but we'll see how 8-bar shapes up in English going forward. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. Let's move on. Petite Sakura. So we got this box stopper promo. It's a 1-0, 500 for each of your other master servant in the backstage. So it sits at 55. When it attacks, choose one of your other master servant characters. Gets 1,000 power. This card's unplayable. I'm gonna give it an F. That's garbage. This is the kind of card that should be a box stopper, though. They should be garbage.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Yeah, this is really bad.
Wouldn't play it.
Any other opinions? It is a master. You can clock on card,
Master.
I guess.
It literally just buffs up to vanilla, so long as your backstage is full, and then it gives somebody else an additional 1,000. Yeah, this isn't.
I think
great.
that's understated. Even still, even if we consider it a 55 or like a 5,000 that gives 1,000 power, that's not great.
Yeah, I don't know.
The problem stems from how Bushiroad handles giving abilities and then taking away power. So it's
Yeah.
like for these two technically plussing abilities, it loses 500 power for each.
Yeah. I don't
Well,
think-
but at least she's cute.
Yeah, at least it's cute. Got a score for us, Bret? E-. Okay. Fair.
I don't even know where else to go with that.
All right, Andy, tell us about the shop promo.
What a card. Spring Seasons Sakura. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, you can pay 1, ditch 1. If you do, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add it to your hand and discard the rest.
Sakura is so much cuter than Kazuma.
Isn't this the same card
this Chibi
as
Ron?
Yeah. So this is a Kazuma effect. Chibi-Ron, Kazuma,
yeah.
was all that. So this isn't playable in the 8-bar deck because there's literally no reason to try to get a climax into your hand in that deck. But in every other deck, I don't know, it's a master.
Well, hold on. You can ditch bars off this. The bars end up in your hand. You can discard
To
them.
get
with
what?
this.
Another bar?
To get a character.
You could just do
Or
that with
something
the bar
else.
filter, which is costless. Like the main reason you play
Yeah,
Cosmos is
I
to
guess.
get into your climax combos, because it's just a look at 3 on a card. Especially if you have like a finisher and don't have ways to like top check 3 on your actual level 3s, is like usually why you see people run these. But
It seems a bit redundant with that many bar triggers.
yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. But I mean, I don't know. It's a master. You could throw it in like literally any other Fate deck, right? Like this is just totally fine in any other Fate deck. And this is like, I don't know. This is like a double rare level of like effect. It's like kind of cool for it to be on a shop promo.
Wow, you're just throwing double rares around, aren't you?
I don't know. I think this effect, I think this effect's really strong. I'm gonna give it a B only because it has anti synergy, which I think is probably the best Fate deck right now. But otherwise, it's a fine card.
I think B also because you can throw it in anything else. That's a plus point. Like it just goes into any deck pretty easily.
Yeah, I guess I overvalue the effect, but I drew it back, and you're undervalue the effect, but you're bringing it up.
Giving it a B
sides.
plus because Fate hasn't really had anything that gave it quite like this. In fact, that you don't have to reveal it is a big plus in Fate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I guess you do a lot of techie stuff. There's a lot of cards, so not having to reveal it is a good point. All right, let's move on. Bret, do you?
Egoistic Sakura on play. It's a 0/0 on play. You choose a master or servant character, give it 1500 until end of turn. This is literally what Kate Sith Archer seen on her, something like that.
Yeah, this is a BCS promo. Was this the promo that you
Kinda.
got for playing in Free Fight? Andy, did you and Brandon play in Free Fight? Did you get these?
I wasn't playing Free Fight. I think Brandon was, but then he's like, "Oh, it's a Sakura card. I don't care." So he just didn't fill out the sheet.
That sounds like Brandon. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this card is playable. Maybe if it was like base vanilla, like 2500.
It's Wildcat Girl.
It's just like, I'll give it a C minus because I don't like this card. I guess that you could play this, but it's a master. I guess you can clock on.
I think C minus is about right. I mean, we've seen this type of effect with like another beneficial effect, like 1500 on a brainstormer.
Yeah.
Or
having
tethered
mill
with
on
some
it.
Other effect.
Like you have to mill for the extra power. You have to hit a climax, which is better because just 2-card mill on a stick is good.
Well, there are better options. I mean, it's decent enough for what it is, but for a promo, it feels like a dead slot. if there are such things.
All right, back to the actual set. Next card. So I think this is me, right? Mm-hmm. We got Rider attacking. If you have another character with Sakura on its card name, this gains 3k, so it sits at 35 cross turn, and it is a chaser, which means you can run it into battle against one of your opponent's characters at the beginning of your turn when you would normally do runners. So it's notable that the Sakura Brainstorm is a Sakura, but I can't think of any other cards either off the top of my head, and like obviously we haven't seen any of the other green cards that were Sakuras that want to sit on field, especially in your back row, because I think the best time to play a chaser is like going first. So it's requiring you to have 2 different cards in your hand going first. Ugh. And it's only 500 power, so you can't run it in front of anything expecting it to live.
Noticeable. The thing that is most relevant with this card, I think, is that if you don't have the Sakura, the chase effect is literally useless.
Yeah. It's also not a master, so you can't clock encore it. If you like don't hit your Sakura back row and you hit Shiro, you can't clock encore this.
I don't think that really matters. I mean, I think you're really playing this at level 0, and you're not clock encoring to save this later on.
No, but I mean, what you want to use clock encore as liberally as possible at 0 with most of these decks, I think, is like the general idea. It makes all your zeros plussing.
To be honest, I really think the playability of this depends how many Sakuras you're running at level 0. Like if you're in the rest of your level 0 lineup is Sakuras, maybe it's worth it, but I think it's still just a trap card. Because like
it's
then you're having to roll super hard for level 0 Sakuras. It's like pretty decent if you have Sakura, but like
I don't think it's pretty decent. I think a 3500 chaser is dumb. I think that's so good. Have you ever been on the receiving end of like a 3500 or greater chaser? God, it feels like it's like the most depressing thing possible. Because what it feels
annoying, but you still just side attack and get your damage for the turn. It's not like the end of the world.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can side attack this. Yeah, never mind. You can side attack. Yeah. Okay, yeah, Andy's right. I agree with Bret. B minus. Why? Why did you do that, Bret? I haven't heard you talk about it yet, but I agree.
I'm provisionally giving it a B minus because you're right. It's like for master, it's off trait. So it's not going to do anything. It literally counts on you running Sakuras and keeping that Sakura boost if you're planning on using it. Even if you're running weapon, like you can actually build deck and fate around just the weapon trait. Even if you build around that, it's without the Sakuras there, it's going to be tough to actually maintain that power.
Yeah.
In weapon, it's useless. Inside of you can't really build servant by itself. It's hard to.
Yeah.
So it literally is deck dependent, but in the deck that it can run in, it's functional well enough. honestly, the best way to run this is running it in mono green.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Sakura Rider, like just those two characters.
I really disagree on that. I'm gonna give it a D. I don't think this is a good card. I think this is actually. I think it's a big trap because even if you're running a straight green deck, even if you're running 8-bar,
you'd have to have two different cards.
It's only worthwhile if single other card at level 0 is Sakura, in my opinion. And what are you going to do? I don't know much about Fate, but surely there's other cards you want to be running.
Yeah, many
at
of
level
them.
0 that are not Sakuras. And after level 0, this loses a lot of its value. Yeah, it's 3,500. I can run it in front of something, but it's just going to get run over.
Yeah, and they can side it. It's not like the Goblin Slayer Chaser where they can't side.
I think the run effect on this is useless if you don't have the Sakura. And the Sakura effect forces you to play a very specific 0 lineup. And I just don't think it's worth it.
Good points. All right, let's move to the next one.
We got Peaceful Morning Sakura. When this card attacks, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck. Choose one of them. Put it on. So you get to choose your trigger with this. Choose one, put it on the top, and trigger it, and the other one goes to your waiting room.
Yep.
And when she becomes reversed, battle opponent 0 or lower, clock bombs it. I like this a lot. I like the choose your trigger effect, and the fact that this, like, is at level 0 on a bomb also means it has good staying power, and it probably will live back to your next turn, so you can do it again.
Yeah, if you do this into an
it's pretty handy.
Lane. It's also worth noting that, like, so when Bushiroad puts these strong abilities on bombs, it makes the bombs better because of how bomb, like, running into stuff works. Lower power means that you have higher priority, even if it isn't your turn, because your effect will trigger first because it will become reversed. Like, that's like super edge case stuff, but the fact that they gave it a strong first ability and it's a clock removal bomb, that's pretty good. Choose your trigger is powerful.
I think I agree with Bret on this. This is a pretty good one.
Here's the thing. This is literally the lowest power bomb that Fate has. Every other bomb that we've had has literally been, the stock swap. And those have been sitting consistently at 1,000 power. At 500, this actually gives you advantage. Plus, it's master. It's on trait.
Yeah, you can clock on
talking about
too.
that with that.
But what if they don't clock because hand's too good? Hand too good, don't clock.
That's so gross. Imagine this. You run this in, you clock on Koret, it sits cross turn. Gross. It chooses your trigger. If you
actually, I'm sitting here thinking, that undefeated Super Swordsman Yuki that had Encore built in, this actually I feel runs a little bit better, a little more consistently than that.
Well, because it's clock encore too, like, because it's a master trait. So, okay, so I'm gonna be a little contrarian. I'm gonna give it a B. I'm pretty down on bombs lately, where I've been thinking, like, I've always sort of thought that, like, and I think I still do. I don't think it's wrong to say that bombs have evasion or whatever, like that in Weiss, where people don't want to run into bombs and stuff like that. I just feel like if someone asks you and, like, they look in your hand and they say, "Oh, how many cards do you have in hand? Oh, 5? Yeah, I'll just trade with your bomb. Not a big deal," because they're saying that their other 0 in their other lane will plus them more reliably than you can off yours, especially if you're running oversized and stuff. So I'm just, like, down in general on bombs, especially in English as a concept. But choose your trigger is really strong, so I guess I'll give it a B+. Choose your trigger at 0 especially, I think, is strong because, like, it hurts the most to, like, trigger a climax at 0 when it's, like, not your bottom card, so you can't pay it out easily. So, like, this is good swing first with.
I'm just sitting here thinking I can actually run this more reliably than running the Create Skew from Fate 0.
Yeah, and it's a master too, so yeah. Anything else about it? We moving on?
I think that it's probably better in the non-bar builds where you don't have the filter, but I still think it's good regardless. I like the fact that it keeps its value later in the game too, being able to not trigger climaxes.
Yeah, it's a good open lane card. All right, moving on. Who this? Me?
This
No.
me.
Okay.
Yeah. It's me.
Yep.
Destruction of Daily Life Sakura. On play, it has character salvage by dropping climax 1-0, and this is another clock bomb, except this
Yeah.
is cost 0.
Cost zeros. So yeah, this is like the other supporting card to the Shimakaze. Is this? This is a pretty nasty lineup of effects, considering that. Okay, so a couple things to consider. When you're playing this card, you're playing 8-bar, so the first effect has more value than normal, because you're probably going to be flooded with bars, and it gives you the option to keep bars in your hand if you trigger them for the like promise of like salvaging a character the next turn. Something that's in your waiting room that you need. You're clocking yourself a bunch at 0 to encore all your characters, so you're getting to 1 first. Pre-fielding bombs that answer level 0s is broken. Very, very strong. Because everything that's worth a shit in English is a 1-0. So, really, really strong. And just in general, everything that's worth a shit. Unless they've pre-standby'd out a like 1-1, in which case just don't play the card, I guess.
Well, I actually don't like pre-fielding this. Because if you
Really?
pre-field this against me, I'll say, okay, I'll just crash my shitty level 0 into this 2500, and I'll trade that with you.
It just means you minus, though.
It means I traded a 0 that wasn't going to be doing much into this.
It still did its job then, though. It cleared the lane.
I'd rather play this after the fact and destroy one of their higher level cards. Like a level 1. It's like better.
I think it's still better to swing it into your opponent's turn first, for sure. Like, even if all it does is clear a lane because they crashed a 0, that's still more value.
I guess it does open you up a lane regardless.
Yeah, it opens the upper lane regardless. So
That's a good point.
you're getting to 1 first, and then, yeah, my third point was just like everything that's worth a damn is a 1-0 at 1. So the cost thing isn't really that big of a deal.
I mean, I guess this could be a potential option if you can't swing getting the irreplaceable existence Sakuras. If you're just trying to, keep the board as clean as possible while you build up stock.
Well, it's a good stall, right? Like,
exactly.
Like if you're not going to so you're clocking yourself a bunch at 0, you get to 1 first. You're playing against a deck where like, okay, let's say you're playing against Goblin Slayer. And they like they're going to play out a bunch of they've been taking a bunch of the 1-0 Goblin Slayer. The 1-0 Goblin Slayer sits at 6k. They're probably going to play the Priestess, going to sit at 7k. They have their backups. It's going to be stupid. You're not going to be able to voice their board, whatever. So what do? You play this down because you know that you're not getting your level 1 combo off at all. So you just pre-filled this down, answer their 0s, and then make your life hell for your opponent. And they have to change their entire strategy, or at the very least, side this card, giving you a soul buffer. So like I think that line of play in general with 8-bar makes this very, very good as your like supporting card. You definitely, in my opinion, I think you run like 4 Shimakaze 4 of this. I think it's that good in that deck specifically. I don't know how it would fare outside of that. Probably not as well. But it is a master, so.
Which means, Oh.
Yeah, clock encoring a bomb seems just really rude in general. Like that entire idea. It's like it's the same idea as clean cutting a bomb. Just feels gross when someone does that to you.
I think I'm ready to rate it.
All right. I'm gonna give it a B plus. I still think bombs as a profile have issues, but this is a really good one for the deck. So, what would it be? After I just gushed about it. But, yeah, I think bombs as a profile still have issues, especially cost bombs, but for this deck, I think it works out well.
I think I'd give it a straight B. I like the first effect a lot in 8-bar decks, but there's already a lot of other filtering power competing with this card. So the first effect I think would maybe get overvalued at a first glance.
I'm
But
gonna have to agree with Andy here.
it's still a bomb
That's
and it
fair.
still filters you, so still good.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely still run this in 8-bar. Like, I don't think
For sure,
that's
yeah.
that's not an argument. It's a question of if you're running 3 or 4. I think is
Absolutely.
how much you like it. So, all right, moving on. Okay, so flexible physique rider. Oh God, what a card name. This is just your standard Slayer profile, right? On play goes to 7K if you have a full field. Yeah, I don't like these cards.
D5 because it also includes itself.
Oh, it doesn't include itself. That means it's a D plus instead of an F. I hate these. I'm a huge hater about these. I would rather play vanillas. I would rather play 1055s than play cards like this.
And we have better options at one.
Much better options. In
functionally,
green at
I'm gonna-
rare, better options.
Straight D, just because we do have better options. It's off trait. Like if you're
Yeah.
running masters, it's off trait. If you're
Yeah,
running
it's servant. Yeah.
if you're running weapon, you have better options. You don't even need to think you have better options.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think I really hate these type of effects too.
Like,
Really not a fan.
we gave a lot of leeway to them early on, like when we started doing set reviews and stuff. But like, I am so tired of
I don't
seeing
think
these.
any of us have ever sleeved up a copy.
Yeah, I've never
this
put a
card
card of
ever.
these. Like, we've never put these in our deck, so that makes them unplayable, right? Like, all right, let's just move on. You, Andy.
We got Fluffy Sakura. If you have, I haven't seen the show, so
This is
I
off
really don't
the
have I don't have any context for the name of this card. It does not look like it should go with this climax though.
Yeah, I think that's the
thing
idea.
is, this is off the movies. You actually have to see the
Yeah,
movies.
I've
in
seen the
order to
other
get
Fate
it.
shows. I haven't seen the Heaven's Feel though. Anyway, my life story aside, if you have 4 more green characters or
Sure.
Shiro's, she gets -1 level. If you have 2 or more other green characters, she gets when you reverse your level 1 or higher opponent, you get a free stock. And when you attack, if you have I'm starving in your climax area, choose one of your characters.
And what is that?
Put it in your stock. Choose one of your other characters. Put it in your stock. Choose one of your characters, and that character gets 4,000 power for the turn.
Why did this beer explode on me? What did I do to deserve this?
It's a very,
Is that a green
it's a
stock
very
soul?
interesting effect.
So you
Goes
choose-
along with what happens. So
You-
Seems like it has a pretty easy early play.
Oh,
condition if
that's
you're playing
so
the 8-bar
funny!
deck,
She
but
just eats a card on your field. Oh, this is A plus for flavor, Brett. I'm a big fan of this flavor.
this is like S for flavor. It's just
yeah,
amazing
that's
for me
so
to look at.
funny. That's so funny.
wait, this isn't a level 3. This is a level 2.
It's level 2 with
It's
their
an early play level 1.
So it's gonna go to 65, and it's gonna double stock you, but it has to eat your back row effectively, is what it's gonna do. So you can't tri-field this. You probably don't want to because you have to neg too hard. You probably only play one of this, right? Like, this is a pretty good card to play one of. It eats your back row character that might not be like have any worth anymore. Which I don't know. That's kind of weird considering you probably want your ideal back row for this card if you're playing Masters probably Shiro, Clock Encore, and Sakura Brainstorm. Eating either one of those feels bad, and I think you eat Sakura Brainstorm because you want Shiro to be on the field when like going into your opponent's turn 100% of the time. So you can at least threaten it, right? Because it like makes your opponent have to like really think about how much they want to extend to kill a character. But yeah, this does like triple stock you. So, I don't know. Spicy. It's definitely a spicy, very, very flavorful card.
I actually want to run this. I want to run this at this and the climax at 4 because I'm crazy.
Yeah, I think this is very, very funny. I'm a big supporter of this. This is like
I'm getting a very Vorish vibe from this.
Yeah, S plus
And
for
I don't understand the context of
S
it, but
plus
it
Vor.
very scares me.
S plus for Vor flavor, but in reality, I'm gonna give
This is pretty spooky.
I'm gonna give it like a middle of the road C because I think it would be really funny to see somebody try to make this work. It's a very interesting line of effects.
I heard a challenge, so I'm
Yeah.
going to give it a
It's
C plus.
too scary. Too scary for me.
Yeah, it's spooky Vor
But
monster.
In all seriousness, I'm never cutting a bar for this.
Yeah. So like
Again, I'm not. I don't plan on building a bar.
'cause we keep
I would love to see. I would love to see how you what you come
My
up with.
handle. This is one of the cards I've been most excited for in a set, actually. Protection from Arrows Lancer. During this card's battle, you cannot receive damage by auto effects of your opponent's characters. And if you have 2 or more other Master or Servant characters, he gets an additional 25 and auto Encore from for Hand Encore.
You know, if Fate ever gets standby.
Question. Oh, okay, they don't have standby.
Yeah,
This
they
is the
don't have
best
standby.
standby target I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is dumb as a standby target.
This will be great as a standby target if
So
we
I
ever
don't know.
get it.
We'll probably get Heaven's Feel movie set too. I'm thinking
We have to because this only covers like
the first 2
this
movies.
covers all of the first movie and like a
At
good
least in
portion of the
JP,
second
right?
movie.
Like at least in JP, we're definitely getting every single Fate thing ever. We literally have Hollow Autoroxia as a set in JP, right? There's no
we also
chance.
have a Fate Unlimited Codes promo on top of that.
Oh yeah, we do have a single Unlimited Codes promo.
We have the Fate Zero Extra Booster. We have the original Fate Stay Night.
Yeah, like there's no chance we don't get one. Maybe we get Standby in there, and if so, this is a card to watch. But like, the auto effects thing is so nasty. It's so dumb.
Really good.
That makes this is for me. This is an ideal tri-field. I want to do this because that people count on burn damage.
Yeah, they do. They do. That's
And,
like as a budget
opponent
strategy.
can't anti-change this either.
Yeah, they can't anti-change
If you like give up your early plays and just play 3 or 4 of this instead, that could be like equally as nasty. They can't
it's a
anti-change
95
you, and you can
clock
shut
encore.
their finisher off.
95 hand encore. It's pretty good.
That is, yeah.
95 hand encore, and you also have the ability to run the 2-1 event from Fate Zero Command Seal, which gives a servant character an additional 4,500.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. This card, like, it's a really good standby target, even if it didn't have the first piece of effect text. But because it does, that's even dumber. I hope Fate does get standby. I hate saying I wish a set would get standby because I hate standby as a concept. Because I think it's too strong. I think it's become way too strong. But this has cool implications. Especially for English, if they get standby. But yeah, I don't know. I'm ready to rate this. I'm gonna give it like C plus only because they don't have standby. I think it is still niche, but it's definitely a card to know of going forward.
I'm gonna give it a B plus because I think you can actually just play this card from your hand just as a 2/2, and that's fine. You don't need to standby into. You can actually just play this card and it's still good.
I'm gonna
and I think with standbys it gets a lot better. That's where the A plus comes in. If they get standby, I think it becomes really, really good.
sit on this at an A minus, because I love it. I love the idea of it. I love the ability to, be able to.
How much other anti-burn do we have in English? Is it literally just the Sakura 3/2 combo? In Cardcaptor Sakura, Reflect? Is it just Reflect? Is that all we got?
I think there's like one other thing, and the name escapes me. I can't even remember what set it's from. Like, there's literally not that many other options, but the fact that you can consistently here just deny burn damage.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Like, why not just not run early plays and just play this instead?
Like, I don't know, dude. Early plays are pretty good.
The only one I've seen so far is that Fluffy Sakura, and she's just
Actually,
Oh.
Yeah, I
Log
guess.
Horizon, the level 3 Shirley that sits in the back row. You cannot take damage from your opponent's character.
Oh, yeah,
He's the
yeah.
one,
That's
yeah.
the other anti-burn. Okay.
But even then, even if this is only consistent, actually, I'm gonna give this B plus as well, because there's a lot of cards that that deal burn damage before you hit the battle step.
Is that how that works? You have to hit the battle step? I thought the second you declared an attack, you were considered in battle. This argument happened a lot when card captor reveals were going on. I can't remember. None of us can exactly remember the resolution of them.
Well, the actual battle step, occurs at tail end, but once you've declared an attack type, I believe the two are considered in battle.
Yeah, which is all that matters for this, so that it would trigger the second your opponent declared, which happens before effect resolution. So this card specifically would stop on attack burns. I believe that's how it works. If not, someone in the comments below, let us know if we're wrong. This is a question that constantly comes up. It's probably as misruled as the simultaneous auto effect trigger, which is that is misruled all the time. So yeah, we'd love to hear the answer, but yeah, I'm gonna stick at C+. I don't think it's as good as you guys say. I don't think this is anywhere near as good as the Ilya early play. But I guess we'll get to that. But yeah, I still think it's a card to look out for. If they do get standby, I'll do what Andy did, because I do agree with Andy. If they get standby, this is like an A. That's really good. So, all right, let's move on. All right, so we got Enchanting Beauty Rider. If you have another character with soccer on its card name, this gets 1500 power, so it's at 11.5. During the turn that this card is placed on the stage from your hand, when the battle opponent of this becomes reversed, you may pay 1 if you do Clock Kick. Okay. Let's pay 1 Clock Kick. When it becomes reversed, so you can build up to the cost. That's pretty okay. Right? As just an off finisher. Like 3-2, pay 1 Clock Kick.
I mean, that's not terrible.
It's only on the turn that it's played. It's not cross turn. That's important. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's not as good.
Think about it. What Musashi's are even, on play for that burn. Like, it's not going to be a consistent thing.
Yeah, I feel like
you only need it once. I like this a lot. It goes to 11.5 the turn you play it.
If you have a Sakura, but I mean, you got
the okay, well, whatever. You're gonna have it.
Yeah, it's at level 3.
Is it pay 1?
It's
just pay 1
on reverse. Yeah.
Oh, this is insane. This is great.
I don't know.
It's a great off finisher. I love it.
I guess.
Or when you're working on Project Eva and you wanted that factory tyrant.
Yeah.
I replaced the factory tyrant with a pay 1, ditch 1 clock kicker.
Yeah, but this is just pay 1, so.
This is better. This is better than the Project Eva card. Go figure. Project Eva has bad cards.
Yikes.
Fate has good cards. I love it. Card's great.
I feel like
really good off finisher in my opinion. I'll give it a B+.
The biggest strength of clock kickers is going cross turn, but I don't know, that's probably biased from playing with a lot of Lifo clock kicker recently. But that card's broken. I'll give it a B-. Something about this card is rubbing me the wrong way. I can't put my finger on it.
Do you just not like Ryder? Is that it?
No, I do like Ryder. Look at her, dude. How can you dislike that? I mean, what? She can't look at you. You can't look at her eyes. I guess that's a pretty big downside. That's what the minus is for.
Hey, there's that one climax card where she has her eyes out.
You turn to stone, dude. You gonna
actually no? You don't turn to stone. You're literally paralyzed.
Paralyzed. Okay.
That's OP, dude.
That's not the Greek mythology I know, Bret. But
that's OP.
But that's the Fate mythology I know.
Yeah, the Fate mythology. All right, yeah, let's move on. It's all you, Andy.
Sakura, waiting to return together. When a climax is placed in your climax area, give a character 1,000 power. and it is a clock bond to this other Shiro.
So like, I guess there's a Saber Shiro Sakura deck they want you to play. Okay, so Bret, I'm gonna be completely honest. This is one of the things I hate about Fate, is that they print all these cards that are supposed to go into these Shiro X decks, where they're just like Shiro paired with either Saber or like Sakura or another character. I hate it. I hate that they print like directed support to this stuff. And I get why they do it, because like all the sets are based on the routes, and that's what the routes are about, but I still don't like it from a card design perspective. And this is one of those cards. Like I hate this so much. I don't know if you had any follow-up to that. I kind of just gave you like the, like, I think this is dumb, your response.
Oh, it's terrible from a card design perspective. It's literally, let's do what we wanted to do with Kirito and Sword Art, but actually do it. So it's bad.
Yeah. I don't know. At least he's a vanilla.
That's a good way to put it.
At least the Shiro it bonds to is a vanilla.
Well, he's better than a vanilla. He goes up to 7,500 if you've had this Sakura.
Other. Oh, wait. No. He goes to 75. Oh. Okay. That's not as bad as how I read it before. I thought he
kind of... I mean, I think I'd prefer an Apple Bond. I think I'd rather pay one than clock myself at that point for a plus.
Married Life effect is fine when it's paired with some other amount of power. Married Life on its own, like Climax plus 1,000, isn't as good.
But I mean, you're getting a plus. That's a powerful effect, potentially. Again, I like the Apple Bond effect better, but clock bonding's still pretty good.
Oh wait, no, clock bonds. Yeah, you're right. It is a plus. Yeah, I'm sorry, misread. I still don't like it. I'll give it a D plus just because it does plus you. But I still think the card's bad. I'm not a fan. The best part about this card is its art.
I'm gonna give it C- because I still personally would rather run Summoning with Command Seal Shiro, the assist with that same climax effect.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
to me, it's not the most powerful, but at least it does plus you into another card.
Wait, they have
it
another
swings
Married
for a good
Life,
amount
Bret?
of power.
They have another Married Life, Bret? You mentioned
we've had this. We had it since Blade Works too.
Okay. Yeah, there's a better card that has that. Then yeah, no, never mind.
It's literally assist, and when climax is played, choose character, give it 1,000.
Yeah, fuck that then. This is a D. I'd rather not bond at all and play a normal Married Life. So. All right, next. Who dis?
That's me.
Okay.
Hey, Shinji. God damn. Agonizing decision, Shinji. This card straight up can't be chosen by your opponent's effects. It also has an alarm effect that if it's on the top card of clock at the beginning of climax phase, you can drop a card from hand to salvage.
This is like the worst version of Swimsuit Himari I've ever seen in my life.
It's so bad.
This is like
Shinji.
The first effect is completely worthless, and then the alarm effect is fine, but you can't have cards that have okay alarm effects and no value otherwise. Like, that's the big thing with alarm, right? It has to be a card that's kind of halfway decent with its first effect, and the alarm is a bonus, and that makes it a good card, which is like a lot of those, you see a lot of those backups that are Faithless Looting, or like literally any card in Afterglow, like the Ron with the burn effect and the Ricky effect. Like, they have to have halfway decent effects without the alarm stuff, and then the alarm is sort of like an added on bonus, and that together makes it a decent card. This is a 0, and the first effect's worthless at its 500 power. This is like double F minus unplayable. Which is what Shinji deserves, right? This is what Shinji deserves.
God.
What a terrible character.
Literally, the only redeeming trait about this, and this is not even a redeeming trait, is that he's a master.
Dude,
wow, I can clock Encore my hexproof 500 character.
I guess I don't want to spoiler because Andy hasn't seen it, but like, so I media blackouted myself on Heaven's Feel. Like, I didn't read the visual novel. It's the one route I didn't read because I was watching the anime and stuff at the time, and Like,
Also, literally
Ufotable
took
kills
forever
it.
to translate.
Yeah, it's like Ufotable kills it, so I didn't want to ruin myself because I think their adaptations are sick. When the scene happened, like Bret knows what I'm talking about. I fucking popped off. Like I was like, it took everything I had to like jump out of my fucking seat.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
I was like, oh, I was so happy.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, let's move on.
I think we need
This
to
is
move
me,
on.
right? True Intentions Rider. When this card is placed on your stage from your hand, choose one of their master server cards. It gets 1500 power to the end of turn, and it ditch bombs to our Brilliant Smile. Note that Brilliant is also misspelled on this card as well, so there's not any erratas that need to take
Carmen,
place.
I think
You're
your
fine.
mic is like spazzing
Awesome.
out here.
Yeah, am I spazzing out? We can redo this card. That's fine. Let me know when it's fine. I'm just going to keep talking. Am I okay? No?
Yes, you went robot.
Better now?
Say something.
Hello?
So
Alright, what about now? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Am I back?
yeah.
You're back.
Okay, yeah. So
Is everybody back?
when Discord
You hear
has
me?
like, yeah.
Yep.
Can I hear you guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so when Discord has a hiccup, that's when robot voice happens.
I couldn't even hear you.
Yeah, so we'll I'll just restart this card. I'll count myself in here. 3, 2. All right, so we got True Intentions Rider. When this card is placed from hand, choose one of your Master Servant characters, give it 1500 power, and it ditch bonds to the Brilliant Smile Sakura. Note that Brilliant is misspelled on this as well, so you don't need to hold up for an errata or anything. You're good to go. So there is like a loop with this card where you can play this, ditch, grab the Sakura, play the Sakura over this, like put this to stop. I don't know. Connor talked about it. There's like a quote unquote infinite loop you can do to pay out climaxes if you needed to with this card. Where like you play over it with a Sakura that you salvage, grab it back, play over it again, bond to it, just keep adding it to hand. Which I don't know. That's like hella edge case, but it is like a loop that you can do.
I think you actually need to be running 4 of each in order to even get that done consistently.
Yeah, this is like a one of if anything, right? Like,
One of 2 if you're pushing it and you're really pushing for the Brilliant Smiles.
But I mean, you have the changer to it. Like, do you really need to bond to it? Does the card really need to be in your hand?
Again, it's conditional. It's dependent on whether or not you're even running the changer. And you even said so yourself. Most of the 8-bar decks aren't even doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see myself running more than one of this as some sort of late game ditch outlet to this card. But like, why would I fill this over the 1-0 bombs? Because I'm definitely ditching a climax, and that would grab any character. So, I don't know. It bonds to a good card at least. I'll give it like a C minus, almost a D. I don't think that like the 1K plus 1500 is playable at all. But it does bond to a good card. That's about all I got for it.
I'll give it a C. Just because I feel like running it could potentially be viable. If like running it anything more than 2 count feels rough to me. Running at 2 count would help consistency if you don't have the changer. If you have the changer, then I feel like this card has no point.
I feel like if you run it at all, you're running for this like payout loop, which like I don't understand why you'd want to do in general, unless you need to salvage multiple cards. Like you want to play Sakura multiple times to salvage multiple different cards, but you can't do that because the loop. No, you can't even do that because the loop mandates that you salvage this card off the Sakura. So I don't see what the point is at all.
Isn't the change a waiting room change also?
Yeah, it is a waiting room change.
So why would I want to be adding the Sakura back to my hand?
Yeah, that's the big thing. I don't get why, but
I don't really think it does a whole lot. I don't like it.
more than fair. All right, let's move on. You, Andy.
You got Master's Capability Rider. If you have another Presage Flower Sakura in your backstage, which is the Brainstormer, a really good one. She gets 1500 power and hand on core. When you play her, you can pay 1 and clock yourself from the top of your deck. If you do, search your deck for the Brainstormer Sakura or Distortion of Daily Life Sakura and reveal
That's
to
the
your
bomb.
opponent.
That's the level
The
1
good bomb.
Yeah, the good bomb.
Level
The
1
clock
bomb. Yeah.
Ooh,
That's
this is spicy.
both halves of your level 1 game.
Yeah, this
Or it's
is
your
spicy.
Brainstormer or your level 1.
It's worth noting that, like, I don't know, as a standby target, if they had standby, this is already fine because you're definitely running that Brainstormer in every Fate deck ever, right? Like, ideally.
Well, the Brainstormer gets a little less good if you're running standbys instead of 8-bar, but you're probably still running it.
I mean, it's still a 7/5. It's still a Silica clone stat line, right? 1/1, 7/5 hand on core. It is a servant, though. You could just have like a master card that was big and would have implicit hand on core, though. Which maybe that's like the niche that some sort of theoretical standby Fate deck has, is they get encore and they don't have to worry about that affecting the power level of their card. But I guess that's a different discussion. This card itself, though, I think it's super cool that it has the Ambush Union dumbass bullshit where it just like rickies for the card that it needs to work. And both the cards that it grabs are dumb, which is really good. The worst part about it is that it's a 1/1. You can't just play this and then pay 1 and clock yourself and grab what you need.
Seems like it could be tough to fit this in the actual deck. It feels like there's a lot of competition at level 1.
Yeah, I don't think you run this in 8-bar. I think you run this in some sort of Sakura Rider deck. Probably. But it's definitely interesting. The bond to your own card you need to affect is very strong. Like dude, just fuck Ambush Union. Fuck that card. On that alone, I'm gonna give this a B-. I have belief that this card could be strong, but Fate needs probably standby. It's some sort of red-green standby build.
Yeah, I feel like this card is just really strong on paper, but I just don't know how I'd fit it into a deck at this point.
A lot of competition for slots.
I'm just gonna give it same. As much as I like the idea of it, I would rather it's like you guys have seen my decks before. You know that I have a good I like, especially my Project Diva builds, I like running the hand on core cards. The 1/1 6500 power phone neural trial deck. Miku. That's something I've run pretty much consistently. It still hasn't left my original build. I've never took it out. And like alongside that, I've been running Time Machine. So I like the idea that it, even if it's conditional, to have the additional 1000 power on a front row character, even before counting any boosts you might have in the back, is very good for me.
Yeah. I just realized I didn't put the distortion on this slide. That's my bad. But yeah,
We work through it.
The distortion is the bomb. I guess we should make that obvious again. But anything else on this card? Are we good?
That's all I got.
All right, next. Bret, I think it's back to you.
Me. Okay, we have Rain Sakura. I think this is our first green backup in this set. It's a 3000 level 2 backup, and when you use it, its backup effect, you choose a character and give it an ability to end a turn. When its battle opponent becomes reversed, you plink that character in memory.
Ooh, memory kick. Memory kick is pretty good.
A
Memory
3K
kick
memory
on a
kick counter.
backup.
Okay, so I think the big thing that we need to think about when we're evaluating this card is how do we use this to get rid of Futaba? Is there a way to get to a high enough power? Like, even, okay, so like, I think the only way we get there is, what is it? Futaba sits at 12.5 base.
Well, you have the rider finisher that shrinks her down.
Yeah, that's
by
what I was going to
3K.
say, yeah. So it shrinks her to 9.5.
So she's -3. You go +3 with this.
So you go to 13, she's -3. She has a Koga in the back. Even if they play the 1K1, they're only.
You have your big Sakura in the back giving 1500, right?
Yeah, this does beat Futaba with a single Koga, even if they slam a climax. They'd have to have additional power. This even beats double Koga base, because double Koga goes to 14.5 -3 is 11.5, plus a climax 12.5. So this, if you have Rider in center lane, this does memory kick Futaba. That's pretty strong. It also,
I'm a fan of 3K memory kick counters in general. I think it's a.
if you were playing this alongside the Ilya
handy
early
ability.
play, the Ilya early play sits cross turn 11. You'd use this to kick Priestess too. Remove stuff. I don't know if I guess this does beat Yo too. You can use this to memory kick Yo, so they can't. What is it?
You can't.
It requires you to like play something big in the first, because like what is it? Because Yo will go to 11.5 typically is how people play out that board. Like,
yeah, but they're gonna swing their Chica into it because the Chica gets bigger, right?
Yeah, they'll swing the Chica in for sure. The Chica goes to 14, and removing the Chica doesn't do anything at all. Still, it's really cool that they have it. I think memory kick in general is a cool. It's a cool threat, right? It's something that your opponent has to think about if they see it flow into your waiting room. That alone is pretty strong. I'm gonna give it a B plus. Or I don't know. I'll just give it a straight B. I really like memory kick counter, 3K memory kick counter. So
If you won't do it, I'll give it the B plus.
it's strong. It's a strong effect.
I don't know. I think it's like I evaluate it as a 3K counter first and foremost, and I think it's pretty average, like middle of the road. The memory kick effect's nice, but still think it's a pretty like average niche card.
Well, here's the thing. Don't forget that a lot of the green in this set in particular has a lot of salvage, a lot of recovery. You can spam this if needed.
Yeah, you could just keep grabbing this, or at least keep threatening it. You could at least.
I guess so, but you could just use it. You could threaten any backup.
Yeah.
This is actually to the point. I'd rather run this over the complex motions Rin, the shaken Rin.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. The Rin is a level 1 backup, and it's only for 1,000 power. If you want to run a backup that has any sort of power behind it, this is a pretty good choice. Having the opportunity to memory kick's pretty strong secondary effect to the actual power, since the Rin is only 1,000 in terms of power. Finding space for it's going to be rough, but
you can probably even get away with running 2 of these if you have enough salvage generation.
Probably, but yeah, I really like memory kick though, so that's kind of sort of why my score is there. But all right, let's move on. Who's this?
It's you.
Oh, all right. I love this card. Anti-Heroic Knight Rider. During your turn, this card deals 1,000 power for each of their master servants, so it sits at 10k if you have a full field on your turn. When your other Master Servant character attacks, this gets an additional 1,500 power. So if it attacks last, it's 13. And when this card's level 2 or higher battle opponent becomes reversed, you stock the top card of your deck. So this is how you play this card. You play this card down, you pay 1, you kill your opponent's early play with it last, and you blind stock last, and you pay it out on your next turn. This card's dumb. This card is stupid, stupid, stupid. I'm just gonna go right to my score, A+. This card's dumb. After playing with this card, and a certain amount, I think I've only really been playing it in like coin flip. It still feels so stupid, and you get to summon this for free off the card we'll talk about next. Yeah. Like, oh, just pay. The fact that you don't have to pay a stock to answer your opponent's early play. Because if you think about it, this is the same as a Slayer, but it refunds itself. It's the same as an early play Slayer that goes to 13, but it refunds itself. That's so stupid.
Nice thing this has staying power. Like, it doesn't granted have the it doesn't get the Master Encore bonus, but even then, this is just
Well, it's only on your turn.
just literally 13 on turn, then it dies.
Yeah.
But it's literally great for lane clearing.
But it plays for free. It plays for free if you play it intelligently, which is the big thing. It's like the fact that you get to clear your opponent's early play, which they invested stock in, for none of your own resources, other than like an upfront cost of 1, is really, really strong. You just get to turn off your opponent's early plays unless they're Sunshine. Which I guess is the biggest thing to consider when thinking about this card, is that the biggest early play threat in English is Love Live Sunshine. And reversing their characters doesn't mean much.
I do really like the fact that it plays for free, though.
It's just so
It's definitely
dumb.
really powerful.
Ugh, I think this is.
I don't think it's quite A, but it's a real good card for sure.
I'm really biased after playing this card. This card feels so good to play. And when your opponent... I think the biggest thing about the card that made me such a believer is not only did I feel stupid for playing it, my opponent felt like it was broken every time I entered their early play with it. So I think, I don't know, that's kind of an emotional response, but really, really good card. I'll lean into my biases here. I'm a big fan. Let's move on. You, Andy.
Final command spell, Sakura. Wait, didn't we already do this one?
Mm-hmm.
No, this came up when we were
Oh, this
looking
is
at
with the
Brilliant
change.
Smile.
Yeah, so put a green character from your hand in your waiting room. When you play it, you choose an anti-heroic knight rider, which is the last card we just looked at. Put on any position of your stage. And then this changes during your draw step into the big Sakura. This is pretty interesting. So you pay 1 stock for this, and then you get that other rider
for free
that we just talked about for free, and then that gets you the stock back for this.
So the dumbest thing you could do with this is hold this and one of the combo pieces in your waiting room, and then or in your hand. You ditch it into your waiting room.
Now, that card earlier that bonded to Big Sakura is starting to make a little more sense to me, because you salvage Big Sakura to your hand, discard Big Sakura to Little Sakura,
and summon the anti-heroic knight, because that's already in your waiting room.
Yeah, you can ditch either the Big Sakura you salvage, you clock Encore back, or the discard the rider and then bring it right out.
So I think the coolest thing about this package, because we saw this before, we saw this sort of like 217k ditch a card, summon something else that's bigger. We saw that in Bunny Girl with the Sakura, and I brought it up when we were doing that set review. But I think the coolest part about this package is that despite it being a 3-card package, you don't have to dedicate as many cards as you think to getting this package off consistently. Like a 2 of this, 2 of the rider, like 2 or 3 of the Brilliant Smile Sakura is enough to like get this off pretty consistently. Because you can hoard the cards in your hand and stuff and still get it off. You only need one target to be in waiting room when you go for this. You only need one of the either anti-heroic knight or Sakura to be in your waiting room. The other one can be in your hand. So you don't need to inflate your counts as much as you would with another multi-card package that's summoned from waiting room. It's a really interesting thing. So like this whole package refunds itself, right? Because you pay one, it summons the rider gets you one back, then you pay one, summon the Sakura rests itself, adds a stock. So the whole thing plays for 0 at the end of it. You just have to have a lot of cards.
It's definitely really interesting.
Yeah, I'm ready to give a rating. I'm a big fan of this. I'm gonna give it a B+. I think the hardest thing about running this card is finding space, because it is the weaker part of the two cards, which kind of stand well on their own already. But other than that, I think it's really strong. This whole package is very strong.
I like the whole package, but I agree. It'd be kind of tough to find space for all these cards.
I like it. Literally, the one thing that I don't like about it is the change occurring on draw phase. Which means, this has to sit for a turn. There has to sit and occupy space in the back.
If they refresh you too.
Yeah, or exactly. And the big problem here, not even like almost as much as the graveyard is, if you're trying to run this in a Sakura rider build only, you don't have the Shiro. You don't have the Encore Shiro if you're running just those two.
Which is the only way that you could reliably play this to the front row and swing with it as a 7K.
And that means, you're eating a dead slot in the back.
Yeah. I think that when I was playing this in Coin Flip, the fact that this was just a dead slot was the biggest thing against it. You only run like 2 of it because it does have a soul trigger. So it's not as bad in that sort of like new Coin Flip with green deck. But otherwise, it's a little rough. All right, we ready to move on?
Yep.
All right, I gotta go to the bathroom again. I'm sorry. I'm the worst. The blurst.
A Lancer card. Actually, yeah, just keep giving me Lancer cards. I'm happy with that.
Ulster's Hero.
The Celtic mythology that he comes from is the Ulster saga, like Ulster Red Branch saga. So that's.
I don't know that one.
It's. God, I could spend a lot of time trying to describe that. So I'll literally wait until I see you again.
Okay. I always get confused. Lancer from this show and from Fate Zero kind of look the same.
They're
very like similar.
Both Celtic warriors. They're both more or less from the same saga, or they're both from like the same region. Whereas Diarmuid, who is the Lancer from Fate Zero, you can actually track to actual historical fact. Cuckoo Lane is who's the Lancer for Fate Stay Night, is more from their age of mythology.
Mm-hmm. I know there's the other hero in Fate Stay Night, the assassin. I think he's like based off some fictional story too.
Fate Stay Night.
Yeah, the dude with the dancing swallow blade or something, and it's like, he's like a myth.
He's technically never been confirmed as an actual person, like via historical fact. There's a person named Kojiro who was a purported rival of.
Are you talking about Ku?
No, Kojiro.
Oh, okay.
But Kojiro was the purported rival of Miyamoto Musashi, but there's been no historical fact or basis to confirm their existence. So the way this works is because he was a servant summoned by a servant. What wound up happening is a person who didn't technically exist was summoned.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Oh, we talking about
Because I
fake
remember it was
assassin?
like it came up in the show, and they're like she didn't understand his attacks.
Yeah.
He wasn't like a real hero or something.
Yeah, because what they referred to that in the Type Moon and Fate franchise as a wraith. Basically, they have no historical basis or background to be pulled from, so they're basically just a spirit, non-corporeal spirit that has no
All right.
background tied in with them.
Let's blow
Anyway,
through
we're
the rest of these.
off topic.
I'll count us in here, and this is Andy. So,
No,
I think this is Bret actually.
This is Bret. Okay.
Because I did Rain Soccer, and that was three
so
cards ago.
Bret. Okay. So 3, 2.
Yeah, so Ulster Hero Lancer. 2-1 on play. You can pay 1, drop Climax from hand to salvage Climax. And he also has a green stock soul Climax combo. For Fate Changing Blow, you can, when it's played, you can pay 1 if this is on center stage, and you have 4 more other characters on field, so full field. If you do, you choose a level 3 or lower character in your opponent's center stage and pop it to waiting room.
So it's just pay 1, kill something.
Pay 1, kill something. I mean, they can still encore it, but for the sake of removal or things that have markers. In particular, could be extremely effective against Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Love Live Sunshine. This is like pay 1, do nothing against them. Well, I guess you do it before attacks. You could like pay 1, kill it. They save it with Kana, and you kill it again, and then they inevitably pay 3 because it's Yo, and it's that important for them to save it. I don't know. I think the more important effect is the Climax salvage, but
you have like a million other ways to salvage a Climax in this set.
Actually, no, not that many.
Or I guess you have ways to filter Climax.
Well, I was gonna say I'm talking about if this is a 2/1 green card, I think it's safe to say you are heavily invested enough in green to want probably a green Climax, because like with Rider or something like that. So this goes up against the Fate 0 Lancer, which is a 0, which is pay 1, ditch a Climax, search a green Climax, or Excalibur, which also
Excalibur Morgan.
Yeah, I was gonna say also works for Excalibur Morgan from your deck. And I think as a Climax tutor or Climax like swapper, this is like extremely worse, because Fate also wants to run the 2/1 free fresh, so removing a Climax from your deck is not that big of a deal, because you have all these mill tools and ways to get through your deck, because you have these Ozusas and stuff. So like, yeah, I don't want to give it an F, because Climax salvage is an important like effect, but the Climax combo is trash. I'm gonna give it like a D+.
I'm gonna give it a C- because of accessibility. It's an uncommon with a Climax common combo. If you're just getting started, being able to put together something like this, even if you can only use the level 3 rare slot rider, for accessibility, just trying to get started, I mean, you're not really going to be winning tournaments, but this is a good way to get practical experience as well as
Hey, dude, Gay Bulg always hits. It always kills.
Love the Gay Bulge.
We love it.
I don't know. For me, call me old-fashioned, but I'd rather just draw my gold bar triggers the old-fashioned way by triggering them and not waste a deck spot on this.
That's fair.
And a Climax combo on this.
All right, let's move on. First time substitute master Shinji. Fuck, I hate Shinji so much. Memory. If Spellbook of Fake Authority is in your memory, all of your other servant characters get 500 power. It's continuous. Pay 1, rest 2 of your characters. Choose a Spellbook of Authority in your waiting room, return it to your hand. And is this event unplayable?
What's the event do?
No, it could actually be very useful. It's like
Oh,
it's
this is like Monkey Horde, but not as terrible. I think it's the same, and it goes to memory. Okay. This is the playable version of Monkey Horde. What is the Mysterious Knight Rider card again?
I think it's a vanilla 5500
Did we cover? We covered it already, didn't we?
yeah, no,
Oh, we
no.
didn't.
No,
It's
it's
okay.
a vanilla. I just threw it up on screen. Yeah, it's vanilla. So it summons 2. You pay 1 to summon 2 vanillas to the field, and this makes them 5K. Oh, your
6Ks?
servant, it makes them 6Ks, and it can grab it. So you can pay 2 to flood your field, thin your deck 2. And you have to run a bunch of bad cards to do it. Gross. Yeah. I'll give it an F+.
Pot of Greed F.
Yeah, Pot of Greed F again. Paddy Wagon can drag us again. I'm not a fan of this. Like, this is too involved.
Giving it. I don't even know if you guys do E's. I'm giving it basically an E, just again for accessibility, for the ability to play things.
Yeah, it does enable you to play some cards, so I guess that's
They
fair.
are cards with words on them that can be played in the Weiss Schwarz trading card game.
I guess.
They
All right.
technically are playable.
All right, Andy, tell us about Lo-Fi Beats to Study 2 Sakura.
Study mode Sakura. All of your other master servants get 500. Rest her, choose one of your characters, and they get on reverse. Put the top card of your opponent's clock into their waiting room. If you do, so you clock kick them.
Yeah, you remove it from field. It
On
gives
reverse
it like
clock
the,
swap.
Yeah, it gives it like the clock bomb effect.
See, this is pretty similar to that memory kick counter in the ability to just remove stuff from your opponent's field on command.
It is a frontal 5, which is like better than other cards with like very niche passive effects.
It's better than Assist. It's global 5.
I kind of like this that you can search it. You know what I mean? Like, they can always just like side attack you with a yo, let's say, right? You could like just search this out of your deck on your turn,
grab
slap
it,
this
kill
bad boy
it,
in the back row, and then clock kick them.
because your strongest anti-change is a ditch 2 waiting room. This is like a tech to deal with yo, I guess. That's pretty spicy.
I think this could be like a really spicy one of.
Yeah, like you play the 2/1 rider that kills yo for sure. Or at least forces them to have the 3K Ruby, right? Like,
or this just goes for any sort of thing they'd want to encore. You know what I mean? Like any sort of big early play. I actually really like this as a one of.
It's spicy.
It's a one of tech card.
Yeah.
I could really dig it.
I'm gonna give it a C. This is hella spicy, but I do like it. I agree with Andy 100%. This is very, very spicy.
As well, except I would probably run 2, just because.
The frontal 5 at least, right?
You've seen me play. You've seen me run globals a lot.
Yeah, I mean this is just a frontal 5 at worst, which is like
Still usable.
Still usable, yeah.
For sure.
All right, next. You, Bret.
Okay, so we have. Oh my gosh, this card.
Yeah.
We have helping out at the Emiya household Sakura. Okay, it's a 0/0, 2000 power. If you're level 1 or higher, it gets an additional trait of housework. If you're level 2 or higher, it gets a 4th trait of cooking. And when it's placed on stage from your hand, if you have 2 or more other masters. No, this doesn't even say other. If you have 2 or more master or servant characters, you can draw 1, drop 1.
Okay, big question here.
4 traits broken.
Is 2 Loveru a Schwarz side set or a Weiss side set? I feel like it's Weiss side, right? Yeah. All right, never mind. You can't search this in trans housework. So, sucks. Garbage.
You would never be able to search it anyway. It doesn't get that effect unless it's on field.
No, it is continuous. This card gets housework.
Not in your hand.
Yeah,
Not your
whatever.
deck.
I don't want to have this. This card's garbage. Draw one.
Hey man,
Filter's
Neo.
fine.
If Neo standard, what's Haruhi? Is Haruhi black? Is Haruhi a Schwarz set?
Is it a
I
Schwarz
know there are
set?
specific cards in Haruhi that do stuff based on the number of traits on your field. Should be broken in that
It
deck.
has a number. It has 4 traits. Yeah.
He is also Weiss.
Yeah. I was
Oh,
gonna say it has to be a white set. Yeah.
that's an F then. That ruins the card.
Like draw one filter isn't like terrible, but like these first 2 effects do
They don't mean
nothing.
anything. Just erase those lines of text.
This card could easily be a 2/5 with none of that and the other effect, and it would be a better card. So like F on that principle. Like it could not have these first 2 effects and just be a 2/5.
I mean, it's a solid A in flavor if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean it is funny that she's holding his underwear and looking at it with like a weird thing, like weird.
Oh shit! I thought that was a
expression.
blindfold.
Oh no! Seriously, think about it. This goes along if you've actually ever seen the thing. But
Yeah.
the way the flavor and traits work, it makes sense.
She like slowly, basically, they become like live-in like partners, basically, as Heaven's Feel goes on.
In any case, the cycling filtering that you have there, it'd be better if it wasn't conditional.
Yeah. Kind of like whatever.
Well, I don't know. Let's think about it this way. Maybe like you're always gonna have master and servant characters, so not 2 other. It's just 2, including this card, like Bret said.
Well,
just be
Shiro's
mistyped.
mad that she's touching his underwear.
That's not like actually that bad. Like
It's pretty bad,
Um,
man.
just like you have gold bars cluttering up your hand, and you can just draw a ditch.
Or you
I mean,
could
it
just
has
have
good.
a
It has
brain.
good value.
What if
long
your
game.
other card is your brainstormer? Like that already filters you.
This is more of like a front row card. Like it's a good shitter,
I guess.
and it retains its value throughout the game.
I don't
It's like a
run
shitter.
cards to be good shitters, though. I run cards to be good cards.
Oh, I don't think it's an F. I don't think it's that bad.
I guess.
At least
does
it
have
draws
4
and ditches
traits.
you a card and attacks.
Alright, let's just move on.
I'm maybe being a little too generous, but it's
Battle
according to
Hungry
the-
Smile.
Hold on.
Oh, what?
Hold on.
what.
Roll back.
Alright, go ahead.
That's probably gonna get eroded. It is supposed to be 2 or more other, at least according to translations from what is it? Occupy.
Oh, okay. Huh, interesting. Now this card's broken. Slap like now for broken soccer card. Alright, we ready to move on?
Yep.
Alright. Battle Hungry Smile, Lancer. On play, ditch a card. If you do, choose a master or servant character in your clock, return it to hand. Top card is at the clock. So this is your classic clock filter, just costless pitch card clock filter. So my general opinion on this effect is that it's hella underrated. But with no other effect on this card, it's pretty bad. Normally the clock filter is like added, like I think of like the Karen from GGO, which also has like mill 2 plus 1,000 for every avatar net you mill. This only having this effect and being a 2K is like garbage, because the Karen's like 15. Like the Karen will go to like 2/5 and then 3/5 for milling avatar net characters. This is just a 2K piece of shit.
Yeah, but what's the rarity on that?
That's a rare. This is a common. So I guess rarity-wise it makes sense, but in terms of a card I would actually run in my deck, not a fan. I wouldn't give it an F though. I'd give it a straight D. I think it's fine.
I think it's pretty much equivalent to that last card we saw. I think it's a little bit better, but still in like the D range.
At least it can filter anything, like without any restrictions, right? You just play it filter. As long
Well,
as you...
same with the other card.
Yeah.
Same with Underpants Sakura.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Alright, next. You, Andy.
Servant Chase Lancer. Can't use backups or events. The character facing him cannot move.
Yoshiko. This is literally Yoshiko, right?
Wow. This card's great.
Is this card better than Yoshiko?
Well, it depends if we're using backup. We're using backups in this deck at level 1, so probably worse.
Well, no, I just meant like, is Yoshiko? I'm gonna check this right now. Is Yoshiko just events or just backups?
It's both. It's
Is it
events.
both?
Because when I was playing Blue Sunshine, I was misplaying that card for a long time.
Okay, so
And then I'm like, oh, wait a second. This card's terrible in my deck. I have to take it out immediately.
I think Yoshiko's.
And
really good
ironically
card.
enough, I took it out and added in the shitty Maris that draw this card on play.
I think Yoshiko's a really dumb card. I think that Yoshiko in English is an even dumber card because AOT has a higher representation rate. I would give this a straight A. I think this oversized profile is totally fine. And anti-runners are a card that it's a card profile that people consistently underrate and consistently get bodied by. Like the same people that say that anti-runners are bad are the people that throw garbage in front of anti-runners and then forget that they can't move it and ask you to say, can I please take that back? And you get to look them straight in the face and say, nope. Like, that's the kind of people that shit on anti-runner. Anti-runner's a good effect.
The classic Timmy trap.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say anything else about it. I mean, you're basically running this at 0 anyway, so the event cards or backup things pretty much not relevant.
The only hit against it is that it's servant, right? It's definitely, but like, if you don't care about that, if you're just running green, if you're somebody who's just like grabbing fucking Heaven's Field boxes and you're trying to throw together a deck, just fucking run 4 of this card. This card's great. Like the
It's
text,
common slot.
yeah, it's a common. It's a common. That's so good. All right, nothing else
All right,
about
let's move on.
Yeah.
All you, Bret.
Okay, Monster Strength Rider. During your turn, if there's a marker underneath this card, it gets an additional 2k. And when it's placed on stage from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's Master or Servant, you can put it face down underneath as a marker. I feel like this is just a worse Chisato.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have ever had the soul-crushing moment where you realize that the Tsugumi 0 isn't cross-turn. Because I have, and it sucks. And this card
Oh, yeah,
also
that's why I
sucks.
don't like Afterglow as a
Yeah.
deck.
Yeah, it's like...
You're like, wow, everything's so powerful. Oh, wait, no, it's not.
It's only on your turn. Yeah. So these are like... They're acceptable, but like... They highlight all the reasons why Chisato is broken. Like Chisato Futaba. When we talk about that, we're talking about these zeros that on play, you reveal the top card, you can choose to marker it, and if you do, the card gains 1 level and 1500 power, and they set it 3/5 level 1 cross turn. That's really, really strong. This is like not strong at all because it's a 4/5. You have to coin flip for it, and it doesn't sit cross turn, which is where cross turn is most important, is at 0. The coolest part about this card is that you may marker the card. It is a striker that has some value later in the game. You reveal the top card on play. You don't have to marker it, which is more relevant than a lot of people think. It's like 5-card brainstorm and stuff later on in the game, effectively. But yeah, I think it's still a bad card. I'll give it like a D plus, just because it has that late game value. That's it.
I'll do
Giving
the same.
Ryder the D on this one.
I'm gonna give it a C minus because the fact that you can just straight plain top check it with it.
Yeah, it's just top check, leave
Just-
it. Yeah.
And again, common slot. So many nice cards on common here. And
At
there's
least
so many
they're
nice
playable,
green
right?
cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so many good playable green cards are common. Alright, next. Warrior with a Backbone Lancer. It's a 105k at the beginning of your Encore step if you don't have any. Oh, it has pay 1 zombie. It has Liz Zombie. This
On
card
a
is
5K, that's pretty lame.
This card is yikes. Yikes. Why? this effect should never be on this card. This effect should never be on a card with a cost 0. There is no reason. Why would I ever pay 1 to keep this card
Plus?
around?
Obviously, idiot.
Yeah, at level 1, maybe. At level 0, it has a lot more merit. Like, when cards have this effect at 0, I think a lot more highly of them than when they have them at any other level if they're not, like, something with big power that I want to keep around, like Liz.
It's not terrible, though. Like, 5K is, like, basically vanilla stats on a 1-0.
I'm sticking to my guns, bro. This is a yikes through and through.
Oh, so we're allowed to do that.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I wouldn't play it, but, you know, not the biggest piece of shit we've reviewed today.
I guess, yeah. It's not as bad as the Sakura with 4 trades.
I'm gonna give it just regular D.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's words.
All right, Andy, this is all you.
Okay. Having a Nightmare Sakura. This card's placed on the stage from your hand. If you have 2 or less stock, she gets rested. Ooh, on a vanilla, we're starting off good. When a climax is placed on your climax area, this card gets, when you reverse, you can, get a free stock. Okay, that's pretty good, actually. I take it back. I take back my snark.
The first event is the first effect is garbage, and the second effect is like sick.
You're obviously playing this in stock charge heavy builds. So,
Maybe.
like, you're going to have 2 stocks, so you don't need to worry about the first effect.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then, that's like a free stock. That's not bad at all.
This really warps your line of play, though, at 0. You can't, like, aggressively search for stuff at 0 if you plan to play this at level 1.
Why am I searching for stuff at 0 if I'm generating a bunch of stock?
Yeah,
Why would I
guess
want
you
to
could
pay
just say,
stock to search?
yeah, my deck is so bad, I don't want specific cards. Anything that flows to my hand is fine. I will have 2 stock.
You just play wombo combo with a bunch of stock. I think this has, like, some potential, actually. I don't know, like, all
you're
of Fate's
some sort of
options,
big-
but some, like, really, really heavy stock build that does something amazing at the top end. Imagine like Brandon playing Prilia, but it's Sakura and you're building stock for something else amazing.
Like, I don't know, maybe in some sort of theoretical big stock deck where you just, like, completely ignore the fact that stock swap is an effect that exists. And you
I'll
just
give it a C. Because there
over-compress.
has to be a deck out there somewhere in Fate that wants to just build as much fucking stock as you can. And
I'll give-
Sakura is your girl for that.
I'll give it a D. I'll give it a D plus because of the Sakura getting fucked card art.
We're not.
She's
we're,
sleeping
we're,
and having a nightmare.
We're not that far yet.
I don't know, man. This is
Well,
both.
really not that
Not
far
in
yet.
Carmen's headcanon.
This is both movies, dude. You don't know what happens in the second movie. Skilled prostitute. All right, moving on.
Bret?
I don't want to waste anyone's time
Oh,
with this. This is just a vanilla. Vanillas are vanillas. It's like a D. It's like whatever. I don't want to.
Oh, this is the whole spellbook thing we looked at earlier.
Yeah, I don't want to rob Bret of a card, so let's just rate this vanilla and move on. Andy. F. Okay. All right. Bret, tell us about the event.
Okay, Spellbook of Fake Authority, and I've seen this damn book.
This-
I've seen this book referred to as like 9 different things. Like if you go to Techman Wiki, it's the Spellbook of False Attendant. If you go to Fake Grand Order, it's False Attendant's Writings. If you go here, it's Spellbook of Fake Authority. I want them to pick a name and stick to it. My God. Anyway, Spellbook of Fake Authority is a 1/1 event. You search your deck for 2 of that 1/0 vanilla rider, put them on separate position of your stage standing, and shuffle your deck. This card points to memory. You play it with the Shinji. You get the extra 500 power.
All right. So the big question with this for me is was the Batman Ninja event free?
The Monkey Horde one?
Yes, it was, but it didn't send itself to memory.
And
Okay.
didn't really
so
generate any
it's-
other bonuses.
It's not
But
pot
it
of
was
green
free.
because it has something besides. it has a cost besides a card to play it. So it's not truly Pot of Greed.
But this card is green, and Pot of Green is green.
Pot of Green! Pot of Green is green. Oh, God.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know. This is unplayable.
Yeah.
Wait, no,
it's pretty
no,
bad.
no. Monkey Foot, the one that brings out those
Yeah.
characters. You have to take a weapon character and rest it as well
Oh, wow.
in order to play this out.
Huh.
But then again, I think you can just play over it.
Do monkey
Yeah.
hordes count as weapons?
Yeah, they are weapon characters.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This is unplayable. You know what, Patty Wagon, if you're watching this, I'm gonna give this an F. So in your next roundup, you could say that we gave Pot of Greed an F, and that we've lowered our standards yet again. So, but yeah, I don't think
that was a long one, guys.
God,
Green.
Yeah, Green.
I still can see some viability for this. I can see potential uses for this, just if you need bodies. I mean, it's not like an apple bond, but the fact that you can fish this out if it winds up hitting the waiting room and then still get this out to play.
It does rip 2 cards out of your deck and then go to memory, so it's a 3-card removal, quote unquote.
It helps in the deck. It gets you closer to climaxes.
If only it grabbed useful cards.
Yeah, if it grabbed literally
I'm actually
anything
gonna give it a
else.
D- though, because
Yeah.
I can still see a potential use for it. I mean, it's better than some of the other cards we've seen in this color. So
That's fair.
Like Andy said, speaking of this color, green is probably the most important color in this entire set.
oh,
There's
absolutely.
a lot of good stuff in green.
But think of it this way. You take a look at Fate Zero, you take a look at Unlimited Blade Works 1 and 2. We've been dying for some good, solid green support.
Yeah, like we say yeah, so we say it's green heavy, it's green important, but it's something that the Neo standard set of Fate needed. So yeah. So I think it was natural.
For all you green fans out there, Heaven's Feel is your set.
Yeah, slap green now. Slap like. If you
Green
like
reveal
green.
at 100 subs.
All right. I think that's it for green, right?
That's it.
All right. Yeah. So
I'm going to bed, guys. See you next time.
Pittsburgh Weiss Schwarz signing off.